Hey, what's going on everyone? Supreme Com here. So I will be talking about the Double Z Gundam over here. This is a brand new build project unit over here, and then this one is going to be a little bit costly. So in total we are looking at just getting all the parts, we are looking at 70 of these easy materials. So how many Haros would you need to spend over the course of the next 5 weeks? If you want to get one singular copy of one of these parts over here, you are looking at 105,000 Haro spent. Like what kind of number is that? Like what? Yeah, so when I go over each single parts of the Double Z, I will list out all the material needed. I waited a week before doing this video because I want to see if like this because it started last week, that was the standard pool, so obviously nothing's gonna rival this unit over here. I waited this week because we have two brand new limited Gundam Battle Festival units, so I want to see if these two units will break the barrier, which indeed it did. So we're gonna quickly go over the parts and see how good they are and which one you want to specifically focus on instead of like getting the whole suit. 105,000 is not an easy amount of Haros to obtain. Obviously free-to-play players is no way going to be able to amount to that much Haros. That's why if you guys are planning to get any one of these parts, just focus on this one specific one and then you should be good to go. We're gonna first start off with the head over here. If you guys will see on my trusty left right hand side, you see my trusty handy little Excel sheet over here. So based on calculation, the head is going to be ranked number 2, closing in just right underneath for first build project unit, the Versago chest breaker. Right underneath that we will be looking at the amazing red word, just came up at this point a month 3 weeks ago, no, a month at this point. So obviously the set is really promising, but we have a annoying EX skill over here. It's not really annoying, it's just another one of those cussing EX skill. This is a point blank high mega cannon over here. It's gonna come in at D pierce and S power over here. Obviously it's gonna give you guys another shot raise of 49%. I think at base level 1 we are looking at 40% already. This is like really powerful. Nonetheless, it's really powerful. But what is the cost of it? You are going to be looking at 5 material A, which started last week. There is still one banner up right now where you can still get the material A, so that's going to cost you 5 of that, and that's going to cost you a material C as well, which is next week if you guys want to plan to get the head. The head piece, if you guys really like the cussing EX skill, the head is probably just don't look at the stat, because the stat means nothing at this game if you don't take into consideration like portrait, because like the whole meat of the unit is not based on, oh, I want to get the highest stats, what most of the time you are looking at some portrait will be your main safe with this, like in this meta, because you want to maximize your 18 slot portrait. So this head over here is obviously for your skin purposes, so no matter how high the stat is, you can look at like 12k stat or 13k stat. That doesn't really matter if you are looking at this over here. What kind of parts you can slide this into? There's one or two options. The highest possible solution is you can slap this onto you can subslot a amazing red warrior head, which coincidentally had the same word tag as this guy over here, so you get a perfect match of a 20.5 subslot parameter up. So that is not a lot. If you guys are doing a non-same parts subslot, you're getting a lower stat and average. So, and as for like a shot machine, you want the highest possible head, so you want a double subslot of the same parts, you get the best out of it. But you don't want to subslot you don't want to double subslot this guy because you have EX skill over here. So what do? You get the amazing, either you have the amazing red warrior, or you come over here to the permanent and you want to grab yourself a Wing Gundam head over here. I believe, yeah, the Wing Gundam does have a high firepower, which you get a 30.5. I think this is probably the best solution. But if we do take a look at the portrait is not really that good. You have a crit, which is kind of useless in this game, and then you have a long shot attack raised by 30%, which is not too significant. I think any mid to close range, I don't think you're benefiting from that. So your other choices is gonna be the Amazing Red Warrior, which I will have on the side of how like amazing, no pun intended, how amazing the portrait is. But the head is probably not something you want to go for. That's just to say, even though you have some really high stat, I don't think that really justifies for it. Alright, now moving on to the chest. I took a little bit too long for the head because the head is like one of the most important part of like a shot build. So I want a little bit longer. So we're gonna try to speed things up over here. Looking at the chest, the chest is ranked number 3, just slightly lower than the Fusago chest. Fusago chest breaker coming in instead of number 1, and then again Amazing Warrior coming in at rank number 2. Portrait coming in, we are looking at a mid shooter job. When you have mid shooter job, shooting power boost by 30%, and then this second portrait is strictly to the headpiece. That would get a EX skill power boost by 35%. If I recall, I don't think there's any like really good headpiece EX skill that we have in this game, right? We have obviously the build project F91. We have another like a cutscene EX skill, but other than that, oh no, Denial Gundam. There you go. You can slap this onto like a Denial Gundam, but you're gonna be looking at a shooting power boosted. I don't think you want to put this in like a melee machine, right? So the chest is like a bust again. Probably not gonna be something you want to get. But coincidentally, again, what is the best possible subslot for this guy? You are looking at Amazing Red War again. I believe they share the same word tag again. So you are looking at yourself a 20.5% subslot. I'll probably list a few alternatives to that if you guys want the chest. But just judging by the second portrait, this is not going to be too viable. For one, you're locked behind a mid shooter job, which is fine, right? That's fine, because it's either way you're using a mid shooter or you're using like a long shooter. But the second portrait kind of kills it because not a lot of like EX skill for like that are dedicated to like shooting machines. So this is like a bust already. So the chest is something you don't really have to focus on. Same thing as the head, so you're 2 pieced down and don't really have to worry about it. Speaking of the material, you need two sets of material, 5 from material B and 5 from material D. So just keep that in mind. Moving on to the arm over here. The stat wise, for this one, because this is a arm plus integrated shield, I am comparing this strictly to just the integrated arm. So it's not gonna be ranked onto, well, for the arm it's gonna rank 7 for the melee stats, which is pretty high already. And then you don't really want to put this on like a melee kit. I mean, you have high firepower, which you can get something out of it, but mostly this is gonna be coming at rank number 1 as the arm piece over here. Or you can kind of subslot this to like a integrated arm. If you subslot this, you kind of cheat a little bit to get a better stat out of it. But I don't recall at this point that we have an arm that is both high firepower and ace exclusive. I'll probably look for it. If I do find that kind of piece of arm, I'll probably put it in the left hand side. But let's take a look at the portrait over here. Okay, portrait wise, you're looking at up to 10-second pass, cooldown reduced by 50% once only, and then melee attack down by 10%, shooting power boosted by 35%. This is how do I say it? Because I want to be a little bit more critical on this build project because they are really expensive to get. That's why I want to be really critical and really just dive deep into like how usable this one is. This one is really good if you are not running any like initial cooldown. You can wait 10 seconds before using it, like your custom EX skill, for example, or just your general EX skill. But like if you're gonna wait 10 seconds, this is not gonna be good for like arena, because you want like ASAP, like once you can start using EX skill, like your favorite per second, you want to use your EX skill. Or if you are doing any other types of event, if you are taking this into like a multi-mission, like a longer type of mission, not going to be really beneficial, because that probably takes about roughly I want to say a minute or two. So after that 10-second that pass and you have used your EX skill already, this is like, what are you gonna do? Like, how beneficial is the first portrait? The second portrait is good nonetheless, but like I said, there are a lot of better arm integrated arms already, so I'll leave that on the side as well. So the chest, in my opinion, the arm in my opinion is something I wouldn't go out of my way to get it, just because the first portrait, that's like after the 10-second, is kind of useless already, so we'll skip the arm as well. Alright, moving on to the arm. I forgot to talk about the material. So the material needed is going to be 5 material C and 5 material E. Alright, moving on to the leg over here. The leg is pretty high in stat as well. Obviously melee is not going to be anything you want to concern about this leg over here. And then the leg is going to come in at rank number 2. Let's take a look at the portrait to see how good it is. Like I said, crit is something this game does not really benefit from it a lot, so already you're not gonna get the most out of this leg already. So I'm gonna leave a better option on the left hand side. This is something you can take look into. The leg is something you don't want to get again, so that is a hot skip already. As for the leg, what kind of material do you need? You're gonna need 5 material A and 5 material D. So 4 parts already that you don't really need to focus on. This I want to be critical because like you do have to waste a lot of Haros just to get the material, and you don't want to get it and next thing you know, like, oh, like it's not too useful already. What do I do? Keep in mind we are only on the 2nd week, so 3 weeks later you can have a better replacement on any of these parts over here. Let's move on to the chest, the backpack over here. The backpack is locked into like a EX skill again. Coincidentally, this is the best shooting chest we have, backpack we have coming in at rank number 1, but you are locked behind a EX skill over here. Like, okay, nicely done, Bandai, nicely done. This is the double cannon and missile launcher over here. This is the same as the, I believe, the enhanced double Z version Ka. I'll leave that on the side. They're the same exact EX skill, I believe, same exact power, so I don't know if you want to get the same thing again if you guys do have that already. So this is probably something you can skip, I would say. But for the backpack wise, there are not a lot of portrait because most of the EX skill are derived from the backpack, so there are not a lot of good options. If you purely want the style, I mean, I guess, because there's really not a lot of like good backpack that have like EX skill, like portrait, I would say. So but this is still a little bit too expensive for like general players, so the backpack, I would say in general just to skip it, because like I said, there are a lot more better options out there, like something a little bit more inexpensive, like even any other subtype parts you can probably get it with like 1500 Haros, and compared to this you probably spend about 7500 just to get one part, right? Alright, no, more than that. You're gonna spend 13,500 just to get one of them, because you need to do 10, you need to perform 10 multi-summon on different weeks to get the material. So but the material that you will need for the backpack is going to be 5 material B and 5 material E. Alright, so 5 parts already that are not too really good, you don't really need to focus on. Alright, we are moving on to this melee weapon. This is, I am comparing this to just the sword category. So under the sword category, we are looking at rank number 2 for what is it, swords, and then rank 4 for the shot. But like I said, this one you are locked under like the EX skill over here, so if you are doing like a melee build, you would most practically want 2 of the same melee weapons so you can get up to that 30.5%, or you can subslot this to a 1 to 100 scale parts, which you can obviously do. But if you guys just want an EX skill, I think there's a lot more better option for like a melee weapon EX skill, so this one is probably gonna be another hot skip as well. So unfortunately, this build project unit the only single piece we really want is probably gonna be the best for last over here. We are looking at the double beam rifle over here. This one is probably well, this one did get replaced it based on a stat, because this week we have the Wing Gundam Proto Zero. That weapon is gonna come in just a little slightly higher, coming in at 12,298. You can say a few hundreds. That few hundred doesn't really matter overall because we're strictly looking at the portrait over here. This portrait is one of the best if you are looking at a shot build. While ace exclusive shooting power raised by 30%, while high firepower shooting power boosted by 35%. So this is by far one of the better portrait over here. Some namely competitive option you have is probably gonna be the Gatling gun version of the Amazing Red Warrior weapon sets. So I'll leave that on the side. It's the same condition, but I believe the Amazing Red Warrior Gatling gun portrait is focused more on, I think is it physical. When you are doing physical shots, then you get the shooting power, which is teeny tiny bits more restrictive. This one over here is much generic. If you're doing like any shot build, you will of course have ace exclusive or high firepower. This really depends on your taste. So the weapon is probably the only one you want to get. And this week you can get material B, which is gonna cost you about 7,500 Haros just to do 5 multi summons. And then next week we're gonna have material C, which is probably gonna be the best time to grab both of this weapon. So with that being said, hopefully this is a little bit more concrete of a breakdown, just to see like, do you guys even want to like wow off with this double Z over here? Obviously for players who spend a lot of money in this game, they can just get the whole suit no problem, but it's just at the end of the day, how useful are these parts over here? Because we want to talk about for longevity, like you don't want to like have these parts get replaced like the following week, right? Even though the weaponry for the Wing Gundam prototype is really good, but like I critique on the other video, the portrait is not really good. We can just quickly go over it right now. The Amazing Red War, not the Amazing Red Wars. The Twin Rival over here. Like I mentioned a lot of times already, crit in this game is not really too important. So, and this one is dedicated to only the backpack, so you are not gonna benefit in the long term. That's why stat in this game doesn't really matter. Most of the time it's gonna come down to like, are you using like a really good portrait? Obviously for the double Z Gundam over here, there's a lot of portrait that are not really too good, even though you have some high stat, but you are kind of hold back just because that you have some EX skill over here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys on the next one.